History remembers the Targaryens as untouchable conquerors, though they actually arrived in Westeros as desperate refugees fleeing a global apocalypse. In the ancient empire of Valyria, they were just one of several noble families who had mastered the art of dragon riding. They were aristocrats, but they were far from the most powerful players in that world. Their survival relied entirely on a teenager named Daenerys, who experienced a prophetic vision of their homeland being consumed by fire. Her father took the warning seriously. The family abandoned their status, packed their belongings, and moved to a lonely volcanic island off the coast of Westeros called Dragonstone. 12 years later, a series of volcanic eruptions known as the Doom shattered Valyria. In a single afternoon, the world's most advanced civilization vanished. This accidental survival shifted the global balance of power. A minor family of refugees suddenly held an absolute monopoly on the most dangerous creatures left on Earth. A century after the Doom, Aegon Targaryen set his sights on Westeros, then divided into 7 warring kingdoms. He brought an unprecedented level of force, 3 massive dragons. Within 2 years, 6 kingdoms surrendered or were burned into submission. Dragons functioned as a hovering geopolitical deterrent, ensuring total compliance across every corner of the new empire. To justify their absolute rule, the Targaryens claimed their blood was closer to the gods than to ordinary men, possessing a unique magical connection to their beasts. They attempted to preserve this bloodline through generations of incestuous marriage, a practice that introduced a biological instability into the family tree that would eventually trigger their collapse. This volatility led to a common saying in Westeros: every time a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin. Inbreeding made their lineage a gamble between brilliance and insanity. Some rulers, like Jaehaerys I, maintained decades of stability. Others, like Maegor the Cruel, used their dragons to slaughter their own subjects and rule through pure fear. These internal tensions finally exploded into a catastrophic civil war known as the Dance of the Dragons. This war forced the family to turn their ultimate weapons against each other. When dragons fight dragons, there is no survival for the creatures involved. Most of the world's dragons died during the conflict, and the species never recovered, eventually shrinking and fading away entirely. Destroying their own superweapons shattered their aura of invincibility. Without dragons to enforce their will, they became a vulnerable political state, forced to navigate the same fragile loyalties as any other house. Over the following centuries, the dynasties struggled to maintain authority over a continent that no longer feared the skies. Control began to slip through their fingers as regional lords realized the kings were mortal. The final breaking point came with King Aerys II, the Mad King, who fell into a deep state of paranoia and bloodlust. Aerys began burning his political enemies alive in his own throne room, pushing the realm into a massive, desperate uprising. Robert's rebellion successfully dismantled the regime. Aerys was killed by his own guard, his heir Rhaegar fell in battle, and the Iron Throne was claimed by a new family. The 300-year dynasty ended with the surviving children, Viserys and Daenerys, fleeing across the sea to live as penniless exiles. The Targaryen collapse was a failure of human character. The same fire and ambition that built their empire eventually consumed the family from within. Even so, the story isn't over. Years later, across the narrow sea, the youngest Targaryen would begin her own rise, a journey that serves as a repeating echo of the ambition that first conquered Westeros.